Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings. Today we have a trending news here for you. And the headline of the news reads, Foremost U.S. Attorney leads international observer for Supreme Court review of Imo governorship election appeal. All right, but before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. That's if you've not subscribed. Then if you've subscribed, just hit the bell icon so that anytime we publish videos on YouTube, you will be the first to get it. All right, let's look at the news in detail. There are strong indications that Attorney Bruce Fein, the foremost U.S. attorney and one-time associate Deputy U.S. Attorney General and constitutional expert, will be arriving in the country this weekend to lead the team of international observers that have indicated interest to attend the Supreme Court review proceeding of the controversial Imo State governorship election appeal. Notable representatives of other international organizations that have confirmed attendance to the review include Amnesty International, Center for Democracy and Development, European Union Delegation to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and ECOWAS, and Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, YIAGA, among others. The Supreme Court judgment on the Imo governorship tussle has generated so much controversy and contention in the polity that almost on a weekly basis, protests within and outside the country has dominated the political landscape ever since that Supreme Court judgment of January 14, 2020 was reached. All right, that's the news. But before we go into analysis, we'd like to first of all look at some of the response of Nigerians to this. And this one said, PDP in a dream voyage of unreality. Did Ihedioha himself win that election? Why would any Supreme Court decision favor him? Those paid noisy international observers should not be blind to this reality. They will go back home as a tourist that they are after the Supreme Court have done its job. Another one say, where with international organizations during Biafra review, can they influence anything that already is in existence in our constitution? And another one said, I believe most nations want to learn from Nigerian judiciary, especially concerning electoral matters. They need to find out how the fourth person was declared a winner by a Supreme Court. It will improve their own laws too. After INEC invited them as international observers during the election, so this is still a continuation of the process. And this person says here, at times I wonder why are people neglecting Supreme Court judgment to be sincere, even though there were mistakes in passing out the judgment against Emeka in favor of Uzodimma. There is no means for any change of judgment because their judgment is final. Another one here says, we need peaceful democracy in Imo State and Nigeria and as a whole. Supreme Court is not perfect, but should be very transparent in discharge of her duties. Corruption destroy a nation. All right, there are a lot of other responses from Nigerians, but then we want to first of all look at why that interest in the issue that is pending right now. I think that's the only issue for now. There are other ones that PDP has expressed interest that they are going to file against some other verdicts, some other judgment of the Supreme Court, which they believe that was not right, and they have intentions of filing against. Now, one thing must be known here, and that thing is that the case of Leon of Biafra State was far different from what is happening in Imo State. We must accept this. I'm not a politician. And another thing is that I don't belong to any political party. So I try to be as objective as possible. The case of Biafra State, actually he won the election. But the problem that they had was the fact that the second person, whom by law, both of them are intertwined, by law, he presented some documents which is alleged to be fake, fake academic documents. And on the basis of the fact that the names on the name he's using and the names on the document does not drive, and that is why they had to reach that consensus of kicking him and Leon's out of that position. So his own case was the fact that he presented fake documents. As far as you present a fake document, there is no way that your case can really stand for a long time. As far as you presented a fake document, automatically, if they find out, no matter who you are, no matter how clean slate your winning was, automatically it's going to be disallowed. So that's just the case. It has nothing to do with the election result. But when we are talking about that of Emeka Ihedioha, it's very, we've beat this drum too often, but I would still like to say something about it. The case that they have at hand here has to do with the fact that the figures are not just driving. Now, we know that there are people who are meant to vote, and those people must, first of all, be assessed by INEC. INEC had already brought out their listing and say, these are the people who are qualified to vote, and they are called accredited electorates. They have been accredited. They check their name, they check their voter's card, and they check the sender where they were, and it was intact. Now, after all of that, after the election had taken place, then during the time of their appeal, when this guy appealed, took the case to the Supreme Court reached a consensus. That's their final verdict was that Uzodimma has won. Now, why everyone is clamoring is because the number of votes, was cast by the electorate, by the accredited electorate, is more than the number of electorate in the new result that he brought up. For example, if 3 people were to vote for him, accredited by INEC, that, these people, they have a right standing, they've presented all their documents, their names are in the register, election register, they are meant to vote, presented 3 persons, only for you to come up with a document that this and this and this happened, and by the time they do the necessary computation, they realize that the number of votes we are talking about is about 7. So the question is, the other 3, where did they come? The other 4, where did they come from? Because the only people that were meant to cast their vote were just 3 persons. But we are saying, you are telling us that there are 7 votes. So it's a case of clerical error, mathematical error, and that is where they are going to present it to them and say, sir, as much as your judgment went very, very okay, but these are the things that we have observed during the judgment, that the person whom you have put to be ahead, that's who is now Uzodimma, who is the governor of Imo State. Actually, if you compute compute the number of votes with the number of the total vote with the total electorate, you will realize that there was an increase. So automatically, it therefore means that there were some fake people, that's unaccredited voters, who actually vote, which the INEC as at then did disallow. That is just what the whole thing is. So it's a case of clerical issue, computation, combination, all of it. By the time we did addition, this is what we saw. And that's why we are bringing to you that this cannot suffice. And that kind of precedent, present such judicial precedent anyway, it cannot be accepted because it's really glaring. That's why you are hearing outcries both in the international arena and also locally here. People are saying that there is no truth in that election result. For those of us who do not have mathematical knowledge, that is just what actually happened. That's why you are hearing a lot of shouting and screaming and all of that, that, hey, this is not the right thing was not done. The right thing in terms of addition and subtraction carried out was actually wrong. That's what they want to present to them. And it's on that basis they will now reach another, whether they are going to accept or whether they are not going to accept. But guess what? The international community know about this, and they just want to see if, for one, the Supreme Court will accept that there were some errors in the election result, and they are willing to accept the fact that they made that error and they would change their judgment. That's just it. So right now, the outcry, the whole thing has been reviewed by other persons who are constitutional lawyers who have been in this seat of Supreme Court for a while, both in United States of America and other countries of the world. So right now, they're coming in to see. Let's see how these guys are going to preside over this review. Would they give it to this person with this kind of obvious error in the mathematical calculation of the election that took place in Imo State? So that's just it. And that's why you are seeing people coming far and near. You are seeing countless people revolting and all of that. Whether Leon's own was different case, but this one, it was glaring that actually there was a mistake. So it's on that basis that we are going to be expecting those international bodies. But my own prayer is that, please, Supreme Court judges, no fall our hands. So that's my own. No fall our hands. We know say we don't mess up for a lot of things, but this one alone, please try to gather yourself. Nobody will slap you because you made a mistake. For you to make a mistake is actually human to make a mistake, but to accept that you have made a mistake is just divine. All our prayer is that they will take up the heart of God and accept the fact that they made a mistake and do the right thing. That is what we want to see. And guess what? They will be writing their name in gold. Don't forget that this same international organization has prescribed some of the things that they're going to be doing against them if they do not, if they keep what they call flagrantly fraudulent verdict. If they continue with it, according to them, they said they won't be allowed to come to the United States of America. In other words, they will suffer a visa ban. And if they have any asset in the United States of America because of that fraudulent verdict, that certainly they are going to confiscate it. And possibly they are going to also, the committee in charge of African aid in the Congress will also have to review the countries that are getting, aids from United States of America, and because they do not want to support any country that is against the fundamental human right of its citizens. So that's just the point right now. So we are expecting them to come into the country. Hopefully, that's the information we just gathered. We don't know how certain this one that coronavirus has entered Nigeria. If coronavirus will not chase them away, a lot of people are so scared of this coronavirus. We pray that the coronavirus will not chase them away. Hopefully, they will be in town, and so that Nigerians will get to enter into the global spotlight in respect to this particular case. All right, let's leave it there. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon.